Greetings. This is Governor Herrera. I hope you and your family are well. As we move into the fall season and the upcoming month of October, I would like to start by asking you all to be aware that we are now going to be facing a situation we have never had to deal with. We have been dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic and trying to promote safe practice habits. Just as everyone is getting tired of wearing masks, social distancing, and having to always be on guard, we will be entering the flu season. It is imperative to understand that in order to keep our families safe, now is the time to strengthen our efforts to exercise COVID-19 safe practices. As stated last week, please remember all of the revisions made at the state level do not apply here in Laguna, Pueblo. With the upcoming cold and flu season approaching and not knowing how it will impact the current COVID-19 situation, we are not prepared to make any new revisions to our order at this time. I would like to mention also that Grant Cebolla County School Superintendent Perez recently presented the proposed updated school reentry plan. The plan presented was a hybrid model. Surveys have been conducted to determine what families would like to see in a reentry plan. Results of the survey will be shared in the next video. Following the presentation, the superintendent was asked to ensure all the stakeholders were provided the same information. It was also requested that they be given the opportunity to provide their feedback. The Pueblo of Laguna supports Grant Cebolla County Schools to continue with virtual learning through the end of the year. I will continue to provide updates in the coming weeks. I would like to share an update received from the ACL Service Unit. We have been informed that the CEO, David Tonemah, will be transferred to another location within IHS. Although his time with us was brief, we appreciate his efforts to communicate with us and to work with us on the many issues we have been faced with this year. Next, we have an upcoming national election. There was a presidential debate last evening, and it can't be stressed enough how important your vote is going to be in determining who will lead the next administration for our United States of America. We also have an upcoming Pueblo-wide election. The 2020 Pueblo election will be conducted by 100% absentee ballot. Postcards were mailed to each tribal member in August to notify members about the election and to ensure that everyone has an up-to-date address on file with the Enrollment Office. If you need to update your information, please call the Enrollment Office at 505-552-6654. The update regarding the Laguna Rainbow Center and the exposure event that was announced last week. All of the staff and residents at the Rainbow Center have been tested. Laguna Rainbow Corporation will continue to allow scheduled window visits. If you would like to schedule a visit with your loved one, please call 505-552-6034. Also, please be advised that food or snack drop-offs will not be allowed until further notice. Now for the POL COVID-19 update. If you follow the news, you may have seen that many communities and states are experiencing an increase in positive cases. Although we pray that things that happen outside our boundaries will not always affect us here in the Pueblo, due to people traveling and various reasons, we are not always immune to these things. We have had a second exposure event at Laguna Rainbow Center. Fortunately, the case was caught fairly quickly and the positive case was removed from the facility. Unfortunately, anytime the virus impacts a facility like the Laguna Rainbow Center, there are always going to be residents and staff members that are required to quarantine and be tested to ensure that we stop the spread within the facility. All quarantine notices were given the same day, and all individuals involved have been scheduled for testing. We have also identified 2 additional positive cases within Pueblo boundaries. One case was due to travel and activity in Gallup. The second case was due to an individual choosing not to follow COVID safe practices and exposing family members. Contact tracing for both cases was conducted immediately, and everyone involved has been placed in quarantine and has been scheduled for testing. At this time, we have 10 households in the Pueblo in quarantine, which includes 46 individuals. We have also had to ask for 7 households outside of the Pueblo to quarantine due to exposure involved with our new cases. Those 7 households include 20 people. All of these individuals are being managed and cared for by our EOC team. Right now, the Pueblo stands at 47 total positive cases, 44 recovered, 1 deceased, and 2 active cases within the Pueblo boundaries. We need to keep our guard up and prepare for the upcoming cold and flu season, which will happen while we are still in the COVID-19 pandemic. Remember, if you are feeling ill, please stay home and get tested as soon as possible. You may call the COVID info line at 505-328-5682 to get assistance with testing. You may also call your primary care provider to seek guidance. The COVID-19 testing site for Pueblo Laguna has changed their hours. Testing will now be held Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Registration is required for testing. You may visit POL website for information on registration, or you may call 505-221-4028 or 505-290-4058 to schedule your test. Please remember and keep an eye out for the upcoming COVID-19 test and flu vaccine event that will be scheduled soon. Incentives will be given out to those brave enough to be swabbed for COVID-19 and vaccinated for the flu. I will provide the date in a future video once it has been confirmed. Lastly, the 2020 census deadline date has been extended to Monday, October 5th. The Pueblo will host a 2020 census outreach event this Friday, October 2nd at the Tribal Building from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Face masks and t-shirts will be given out. Gas certificates will be given to the first 100 people. In closing, again, please continue the efforts to keep our families and communities safe by following all the COVID-19 safe practices. Please do not gather in large groups larger than 5. Socialize at a distance. Wash your hands. Wear a face mask if you must go out in public. Don't touch your face with unwashed hands. And stay at home to the greatest extent possible, keeping in mind that every time you leave your home, it's a risk. I wish you all well, and you and your families be safe. Thank you for this opportunity.